What's up, guys? I know this is not the outcome that we wanted, an outcome I saw that could potentially happen. Um, definitely sad. I know I'm getting this video out pretty far after the game, but I didn't want to make this, so that's why it kind of took me so long. Just kind of sucks. Kind of really sucks, right? And to me, and probably to a lot of other fans, it sucks more not because of, to me, losing in the Elite Eight, right? We got to the Elite Eight. That's a good season. Uh, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that you're never going to see Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and TKR play basketball in a Purdue uniform anymore. And that's just, to me, it's extremely sad. I was pretty close to tears. I think I was in too much denial to completely actually cry, but the next day I was pretty drowsy, and it got to me the next day as well. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. I was just too sad. But with that being said, I think that's just more credit that you have to give those three, because they've set such a high bar for the standard of Purdue now. Like, they came in as freshmen, and Fletcher and Braden both were looked down upon. Both of them were not expected to do what they did. But people doubted them. They doubted them their whole career. People doubted them, and then they ultimately come out and be the winningest group or class in Purdue history. And that's just credit to who they are and the work they put in. But the whole time that they just had to prove people wrong, right? And the accomplishments that they've come out with are just insane. I mean, yeah, we fall short of getting a national championship, and obviously that's what we wanted, right? I wouldn't want anything more than for this group to have been able to do that, just because I think those guys deserve it so much, and credit to those guys for all the hard work they put in. Right, we watched Braden evolve. He was always a good passer, but we watched him evolve. He goes from a key piece to when we have Zach, and passing and all that, and then he goes and leads the team and shows that he's a scorer, and then he didn't just need Zach to be a good player, right? He's had to prove himself the whole time. He's gonna go down in history as one of the best college basketball point guards of all time now. He's going to have the all-time leading assist record. I don't think that anybody's going to touch that anytime soon, if ever, because, the loyalty nowadays, or just the ability to stay 4 years, doesn't happen, especially being as good as he is. And that's something that I love as well. I think kudos to them, and I think, to me, what makes it so much more special, and why it makes it so much hard to say goodbye and watch them move on in their career, because we watch them grow from freshman to senior year, right? You don't see that often anymore in the way that college basketball is ran. We don't see guys stay 4 years. You might see them play 4 years of college, but how many times are they staying at the same school for all 4 years? And I think I saw a statistic at one point during the season, and I think it was like a total of 17 guys or something across college basketball, and that's insane. And you have to give your flowers to these guys. They worked their tails off to accomplish what they did. I had it pulled up, or I had something saved that talked about what they've accomplished. Purdue seniors have accomplished 117 total wins as a group, 3 Sweet 16s, 2 Elite Eights, a Final Four, 2 Big Ten titles, 2 Big Ten tournament titles. You know, that just speaks numbers to who they were and the level of production they were able to bring. And I think it makes it even more sad that, you know, they went out the way they did. And credit to Arizona. Arizona is a great team. In my opinion, it's going to be between them. Whoever wins between them and Michigan, in my opinion, is likely going to be your national champion. You know, and it was a tale of two halves, right? That first half looked great for us. And then we had a dud of a second half, and that's just what happens. You know, we shoot 36% from three, but Braden hit a few early on and then really didn't go. I think he had 11 points in the first half, ends with 13. You know, after he rolled his ankle, you know, it went downhill. But, you know, I really don't even want to talk about the game that much. I'll hit on a few things. You know, I thought Trey kind of forced when he was in. I also thought there were some crazy calls, and I thought that we could have got some and ones calls for us, all that. But, you know, as our seniors, they go, let me add this up, 9, 12. They go 12 of 35, so 34% as a trio. They didn't, you know, Fletch ends with 8 points, 3 for 9, 2 for 6 behind the arc. I thought he was getting fouled on a lot of times that he's coming off screens. Honestly, I just thought he couldn't get open for good shots. Braden looked great from the start and then disappeared. Trey couldn't barely stay on the floor. And while he was in, right, you know, it looked a little forced to me. Ends with 2 rebounds. Oscar, I thought, had a good game. 14 points, 4 for 8, 6 of 8 from the line with 10 rebounds. He comes away with 2 blocks, a steal, 2 assists. I thought Oscar had a pretty good game. Coming off the bench, you know, Daniel didn't score, but he had a block. And to be honest, you know, I haven't been high on Jacobson the second half of the season. And I thought against the caliber of a team as Arizona, I thought he came in and played really well. Omer, 4 points, goes 2 for 5. You know, just as Jakari, you got to give credit to Jakari. Jakari came in and did a heck of a job. Goes 3 for 6, 2 for 4 behind the arc, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals. When he came in, he was killing it. Him and Omer had a stretch for a little bit where they both were doing really well. But take away from the game, forget about that. I think, you know, it's going to suck, you know, knowing that you don't get to watch these 3 play basketball for Purdue again. And I think, you know, at least Braden, hopefully all 3 of them have a shot at the NBA. I'm not sure what that looks like, you know. Braden, he's got to keep proving people wrong because he's short, right? Fletcher's got to prove people wrong because, you know, what else does he provide besides shooting? You know, he's got to prove to hold his own. And Trey's style of play doesn't, you know, that's not what the NBA looks for, you know. I think regardless, these guys, you know, Trey could play overseas, and I think he could strive overseas. You know, I think Fletch at some point becomes a coach. I'd love to see him have a shot at the NBA, and same with Braden. I think Braden probably has the best chance at the NBA. I think, honestly, Fletcher has a good shot because He shoots the ball extremely well. But nonetheless, not the way we wanted our guys to go out. But I cannot express enough how exciting it has been to watch these three play basketball. Like, I have loved every bit of Purdue basketball. I've got the opportunity to attend more games with my fiance being a student at Purdue, and my sister is now a student at Purdue as well. I've had the opportunity within the last 3 of their 4 years to go watch some games. And I can tell you that environment is insane. And to watch those guys play has been nothing shy of incredible, and I've loved every minute of watching their careers blossom and continue to prove people wrong. I have loved every minute of it, and again, I just hope nothing but the best in their next endeavors, and yeah, definitely going to look different next year, knowing that these guys aren't going to be playing, and it definitely sucks. You look at some of their press conferences, especially Fletch. He said that ultimately that's the best decision that he's ever made, and is deciding to come to Purdue. And I think that speaks numbers on who he is as a person and these guys in general. Trey came in as a freshman, knowing that I believe when he committed, I believe we had Travion, but knowing that Zach was going to be a key piece, right? Decides to redshirt. Trey was a top name. Had offers from Carolina, some of those blue bloods. He was a top recruit. He was a 4-star recruit, right? He had high-end offers. But he chose to come to Purdue, work, become, this great player that we've seen these last few years, especially these last 2 years. We've watched Trey evolve. He's played multiple different roles, and he's done a great job, and it's been awesome to watch him, grow in each different role that he's been given. But I think it just speaks numbers onto who these guys are, as how hard they work, and not taking no as an answer, and I've just loved that. To me, as a Purdue fan, the state of college basketball, the way it is, the transfer portal, the stuff like that, I hate it. I hate the way it looks, and part of the reason it hurts so bad to let these guys go. Again, we've watched them grow freshman to senior year, and to me, that's what I love most about our team and about Purdue is, we try to do things the right way. We get guys that we want to develop, and we get to watch, as a fan, we get to watch those guys grow. And this group has been so special, right? And to me, I think obviously Braden deserves to get his number retired, right? All-time leading assist leader, NCAA history for Purdue, and all his stats. He's high end on the points, steals, right, rebounds. Like he's in like a short number or list of players to get certain numbers total in college basketball, for all those stats. And obviously I think he deserves to get his number retired by Purdue, but I would like to say that I think Lawyer and TKR also deserve that because of the impact that they have had on this program. And yeah, I love watching Purdue basketball, and to know that those guys aren't going to be playing next year truly hurts. And that you can say that's dramatic or whatever, but I have loved every single second of watching these guys perform, even in the hardship. right? I've loved watch these guys develop and become better and better, and it's just been awesome. Because like with Trey, we've watched him go being a piece right beside Edie, where he doesn't get a lot of offensive production of plays ran for him or whatever like that, because obviously Edie is taking most of that. And then we see him, Edie leaves, he's a 20 points per game scorer, nobody can stop him, and then this season, the beginning of his role looked a little different, and then we saw him come back and figure out what he's supposed to be playing as, and adds in rebounding compared to last year, so we just got to watch these guys grow. Flitch ends up being a career 40% shooter, ends up the all-time leader of threes at Purdue. That's just stuff like that is awesome to see. I was getting. Where's he at? Yeah. So I mean, it's very sad. I'm very, very sad to see these guys leave. Yeah, Fletcher ends 43% on the year, leaving Purdue as a 41.1% three-point shooter, 309 for 751 attempted. Just speaks numbers. He talks about putting work in all the time. I'm saddened. I'm going to make some videos on, our recruits and what I think the roster is going to look like next year and stuff like that. So I'm going to have some off-season videos. But right now it's just, figuring out this. And maybe Clough gets a 5th year, so that would be awesome. But, watching these guys have to walk away from Purdue basketball and what they've meant to this program, it's just sad, and it tears me up. I've loved watching these guys play basketball. They have brought love back to me, to the game of basketball, and I've always been a huge fan of basketball. But they unlocked another level of love for the game and for Purdue, watching these guys play, and I don't know what else to say. I can't sit and even talk about the game, because as soon as we got down and as soon as it looked like Arizona was pulling away, I could care less at that point on what was happening, and I was more just torn apart knowing that those guys are done. And it's going to be hard. It's an end of an era. It truly is. Not end of an era as now Purdue's going to be bad, because I think we've solidified ourselves, and this program is in a good spot, right? Painter's still here, right? We're in a good spot. We're going to continue to be good. But it's an end of an era because these guys are gone. And that sucks. And it's going to be different. But there's just so much love for these guys. And it's going to be different. It's going to be different, but it's an end of an era, as in the big three. But these guys are going to go down as Purdue legends, and I think these guys, all three of them, deserve their numbers in the rafter. And I know, we got guys like Carson Edwards that wore number 3, and Robbie Hummel wore number 4. But I think these guys, and that group with Robbie Hummel and stuff like that, and Carson and those guys were awesome. And you think college basketball or Purdue basketball, you think of those guys in those moments. But I think from now on, you think Purdue basketball, you think those three and Zach Edey, and I think that that's enough, and what they've accomplished. Those guys deserve those numbers in the rafters, and I so hope that they can go off and have amazing careers. And I think Fletcher's probably the most likely to be a coach, and it would be so awesome to see him come back and end up coaching at Purdue. But yeah, I don't know what else to say besides the fact that I'm just extremely sad to watch these guys leave. And yeah, there's no more short roll passes from Braden to TKR and scoring down low, or a trail three from Braden to Fletch, or Braden's fadeaway midi. Those are not over, and it's extremely upsetting. It's something I'm gonna dread about for a while, but nonetheless, I'm so glad that I was able to experience, and I'm so glad that I got to watch these guys grow as players and as people too. We've watched them. Obviously I don't know them personally. I can say I've met Braden twice. Both times he's been a heck of a guy. So, we've got to watch them grow, and now they've got to go on to their next step in their career, and good luck to them in that. But they've definitely solidified themselves as Purdue greats, and I'm so glad that I was able to watch them and be a part of this. And this team will forever hold a special place in my heart with those three on it. And yeah, I just hope for great things for the rest of their careers, and Purdue will always love you. And if you guys come back for coaching or whatever it is, embrace you with open arms. But nonetheless, thank you, Braden. Thank you, Fletch. Thank you, Trey. Thank you for all the memories, all the amazing plays, the winning seasons that you guys have led us to, and just thank you for all the memories. Thank you, seniors. Go Boilers.
For his third different school, the graduate transfer. Smith, little pocket pass. Wren puts it down. Once again, speaking about it, here is the record breaker. Kaufman-Wren.
Nebraska shooting just 64% from the line. Lawyer. Hey, come on.
It is a brand new Penn State team this year. Smith already with 15 points. Off the spin, reclines and hits.
It's an All-American. Good
nice
look. Kaufman-Wren from Smith.
Let's watch this. TKR from Braden Smith.
Gillis. Lawyer. Edey draws a double. Lawyer a three.
It went through his hands. Smith is leading the break. Looking for the cutter.
Nice pass.
All alone. Uncontested jam. Cox triggers ahead for Smith. The quarterback, the maestro. Smith, the penetration.
Nice find.
The dish inside for the 11 from the field in this second half. Oh, Kaufman-Wren.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, an Okie doke.
Parker Fox still playing hard. The Oilers don't take any win for no way.
Oh, my! When it's your night, that goes in. Fletcher Lawyer playing in the driveway. This is incredible.
I don't know if he's ever made a three like that. And honestly, it was one of those ones where you're sitting over here and almost felt like you knew it was going in. Not a shocker, but...
Back to close to 100%. Kaufman-Wren. Exclamation.
Down again. Smith already with another 8-assist game. Floyer again.
Braden Smith, good dish to Kaufman-Wren, and he gets started.
Harding around the back, and a steal from the man who leads the Big Ten in that category. Smith sprinting the other way. Lawyer, his second three of this. Looking to push. Bailey running with him. First is there. Lob it up. Ball there, and it
Turnover. Huskers cough it up again. It's Cox in transition to Smith. Lawyer the open man this time, and Purdue rolling early, up by 10 and a timeout, Nebraska. Guarded by Alexis. Tried to feel it on his back. Quick turn. Counted on the foul.
Gus, this play was set up by the last post-up.
Was well defended from Purdue.
Kaufman run good position. No,
Playing those bad boys. Those are not light.
no. Kaufman Wren clears the space.
I know that's
Smith drives, gets there, kicks. Lawyer lines it fire.
You miss a layup like that, it's transition the other way.
No missing there. Smith to Jake.
Purdue down by 2. Kaufman Wren out of the timeout. Go right to the rim as he banks on itself.
Oh, no question.
On the lob, another finish for Clough right at
Wayne Indiana native. Yep. And they're playing defense like him. Oh my! Top shelf to Miles Coleman.
Smith, he's got Johnson defending him. Smith.
There you go.
New uniform
There you
number.
go.
Back down. Kaufman Wren over the top. Clough all alone for the slam. Smith is leading the break. Looking for the cutter. Kaufman Wren all alone.
Alley-oop. Yep. Oh my goodness. A reverse from Heine.
Smith, Lawyer, Kaufman Wren.
That's his floater.
Push on. Kaufman Wren drains it.
and they had
Both in the game right now. Braden Smith, Kaufman Wren, and one. Is in the crowd. Smith, kick, Lawyer, fly by, and the three is pretty.
Tell you what, he passed. Very pleasant, unassuming.
another stuff at the rim. That's pretzels.
That's right.
Braden Smith sweeping in, whirling and a stuff. That's just the glow.
Look at this. In traffic, on the money. Well, that's not cluffing around with that pass.
Pocket second. Lawyer a three. Big one for Purdue. Smith looking for Kaufman. Wren pinpoint pass and Kaufman.
Braden Smith probing against Combs. Off to Jacobson.
Lawyer with the dunk down. TKR with a flush.
It's it the other way. Smith. The lob to Jacobson. One man. Lawyer to the free throw line. Leaves it for Jacobson, who slams it home. It's like playing Nerf bat.
Kaufman ran. Megavon tries to defend and he takes it up.
He won this year from three.
The Smith
Pass in. Oh my goodness. 21 first half points and Smith with a steal. Smith to the other end. The wraparound pass. Oh!
The ripe old age of 18 overseas in one of the top leagues in the world. That's a three-pointer. Deep in the corner from Lawyer.
He's there. Fading away. Kaufman went for the jam.
Only 2 for 9 from three coming into play.
Look at the clock.
But they're right on the cusp. Bielyowski is beautifully set up, and then it's Clough.
Had his head up. Got a chance to find his teammates twice on that play.
And the jam. Oscar Clough.
Defensive style, but Tim V, you know, as Banks gets his shot blocked by Clough, Iowa, what they want to do defensively is run Purdue off the three-point line.
Oh, hammer time!
Smith on top, got the screen, finds some room, and finds Lawyer. It's a three. Good! Another one. Wow!
That's Spain backs in here.
1 minute, under 1 minute to play. Lawyer wide open for three, way downtown. Frager, the drop off, and Clough with the
relatively undersized. You know, they may have to start running some things, but that's where they're really coming in.
One of the things Wisconsin has to work on and stop those pick and rolls. Nice defensive effort just then, too, by Clough to snuff that one out.
Smith, the kick, rise and fire. Counted. Fletcher Lawyer. Hold his ankle against Minnesota mid to late January.
Look at this give.
And Clough with
a nice adjustment the following possessions after the turnovers.
Here's Trey Kaufman. Ring on the alley-oop to Daniel Jacobson.
But strong. Purdue can hold for the last shot if they want to. They're not going to. Lawyer's three is.
Lawyer with a shot clock at 7. And
4. Kaufman ran, got to let it go.